Hi, welcome to today's Yin Yoga practice focused on the lower body. I will be guiding you into each pose. We'll remain in each pose for several breaths. Once we're in the pose, I will remain silent to give you time to focus on your own body and breath. So let's go ahead and begin. We'll start sitting back on the heels, letting the hands rest on the thighs. If it feels okay for you, you can go ahead and close your eyes. Allowing the crown of the head to reach toward the ceiling. Letting the shoulders fall away from the ears. And letting the face and jaw soften. Taking the first few moments of practice to focus on our breath. Leaving behind whatever was going on before we came to practice. And trying not to worry too much about what will happen after. Take a deep breath in through the nose. And then let it go through the nose or mouth. If your eyes are closed, slowly open them. And then we'll start off today in toe stand. So remaining on your shins, tuck the toes under. Make sure all the toes are tucked under. And let the hands rest down on the thighs, stretching out the toes and feet. This can be really intense, so if you need to take a break, take a break. Otherwise, we'll focus on our breath. Slowly come out of the pose by placing the hands on the floor. Untuck the toes and sit back on the heels. Take a couple of breaths here. And then we'll stretch the tops of the feet by placing our hands behind us. And then lifting the knees until you feel a stretch in the tops of the feet and tops of the ankles. And slowly lower the knees. Place the palms on the ground, coming into your tabletop position. Tuck the toes and come into plank for just a couple of breaths here. Keeping the tailbone tucked, heels pressing toward the wall behind you. Deep breathing. And then lower the knees to the ground. We'll make our way into dragon on the right side. So bring the right foot in between the hands. And then let the hips fall forward and down. Finding rest and stillness here. Feeling a stretch in the front of the left thigh and hip. From here, reach back with the right hand, grab onto the left foot. Increasing the stretch in the left quad. And then slowly release the foot back down to the ground. Bring the hands to the mat to frame the right foot. And then step back to downward facing dog. Knees can be bent as much as needed. Taking just a couple of breaths here. And then lowering the knees back down to the ground and coming into dragon on the left side. So place the left foot between the hands and allow the hips to drop forward and down, feeling a stretch in the front of the right hip and thigh. And then reaching back with the left hand to take hold of the right foot. Feeling the stretch more in the quad. Then go ahead and release the right foot. Place the palms down on the ground and step back to downward facing dog. Taking just a couple of breaths here. And then slowly drop the knees down to the ground and make your way into child's pose. Resting here a moment. From here, slowly make your way back to tabletop. And then tuck the toes, lift the hips, downward facing dog. And then walk the feet between the hands. Have the feet about hip width apart. Bend the knees as much as needed. And then you can let the hands rest on the floor, or you can hold opposite elbows for Ragdoll. Letting the chin tuck toward the chest. If you're holding on to opposite elbows, go ahead and place the hands back down onto the ground. And then set the feet about a shoulder width apart. Toes pointing out, heels point in. And we'll come into Malasana. Slowly lower the hips down. Coming into your squat. If you need a block underneath the hips, that is perfectly okay. Bring the hands into prayer. Taking a couple of moments here. Then place the hands back down onto the ground, lift the hips, and step back to your downward facing dog. From here, we'll move into sleeping swan on the right side. So take the right knee and place it behind the right hand. And then the foot will rest somewhere between the left hand and left hip. Stretch the left leg down along the mat. You're wanting to feel a stretch in the right hip. So if you feel that here, you can stay here, or you can go ahead and lower the chest down any amount. Coming into stillness, watching your breath. Your chest is lowered. Slowly lift it. And then gently make your way back to downward facing dog. Taking a couple of breaths here. Then coming into sleeping swan on the left, take the left knee behind the left wrist and let the foot rest between the right hand and right hip. Let the right leg go down along the mat. Feeling a stretch in the left hip. So if you feel that here, you can stay here, or you can begin to fold over the left leg. And if your chest is lowered, go ahead and slowly lift it. And then making your way back to downward facing dog. Take a couple of breaths here. And then lower the knees down to the ground. Come to sit down on your mat. And then taking the legs out long and then out wider than the mat. So we're in a bit of a straddle. And then begin to walk the hands forward, lowering down until you feel a stretch in the inner thighs. Coming into stillness. Slowly lift the chest, walk the hands back. Let the hands rest behind you. Place the soles of the feet down onto the ground, a little bit wider than the hips. And just let the knees fall slowly from side to side. And from here, we'll make our way into Shavasana. Let's go ahead and lay back down onto your mat. Let the legs go long, feet falling out to the sides, hands resting beside you or even up overhead. Palms face up. Taking the first few moments to scan from the tips of your toes to the top of your head. Noticing if there's any tension in the body. And on an exhale, allowing that tension to melt into the floor. So this is where I will leave you today. Stay here as long as you need. Thank you for practicing with me.